Today we're taking on the $7 Struggle Meals Challenge. Let me set the scene for you. You got $7 in your pocket, a completely bare pantry, no spices, no herb garden, not even salt and pepper. Can we still make delicious food? I think we can, and I'm about to show you. Today we're making budget lentil soup, mixed veggie ramen, and cheesy tuna pasta. Since we don't have access to our normal pantry staples, we're gonna use creative hacks to build flavor in each of these dishes. It's gonna be delicious, nutritious, and most importantly, affordable.
Life can be a struggle, but a good meal doesn't have to be. We can make creative, nutritious, and inventive dishes that won't break the bank. We'll eat well and save money, because that's what we do. Welcome to Struggle Meals.
We're gonna start off with budget lentil soup. Imagine you're on vacation, you just moved into a house, you went to a friend's place, and there's literally no ingredients. The cost of this recipe includes every single ingredient that you need to make this dish. Literally nothing else. So we're gonna start off with carrots and onion because you can buy them individually. I'm cutting off the ends, and we'll save these in the stock bucket. Even these ends can give us flavor in the future in fortifying a store-bought stock or making our own stock if we really build up those reserves high enough. Okay, cool, so we've got our carrots. Now, I don't have any oil. I'm not about to go buy a bottle of oil because there goes my whole budget. If you've got a packet of butter, absolutely use it. But if you have nothing, it shouldn't stop you from making soup. So I have nothing. I'm putting my carrots into a naked pan. Here comes an onion into the stock bucket. All right, this onion's going in. It's making me cry, but the soup's gonna be beautiful. Gonna give this a stir here. You know, the carrots and onions are naturally releasing oil, so they're both sort of being steamed and grilled at the same time. Is it the same as a saute? Absolutely not. But it's still dehydrating and intensifying flavors, so it's worth doing this step even if you don't have a fat to cook in. Now we're gonna rinse our lentils. This bag right here will yield quite a bit. I'm gonna save the other half of this for another time. It is included in my price today, but you know what? We get more meals for the things that we bought. That's fantastic. Lentils are affordable, they've got a lot of protein, and they're high on nutrition. A quick rinse could just basically clean them off a tiny bit, which is nice. Coming in with our lentils. We're gonna add some tomatoes to this dish, and I've got fire roasted tomatoes because they've got even more flavor. Very nice. Let's put them in. Oh, you can smell it right away. Because I don't have access to traditional seasonings, I'm trying to build up flavor wherever I can. That's why I'm using fire roasted tomatoes. More flavor. I found a packet of taco seasoning. This is our salt, this is our pepper, this is our spices. It's gonna make everything taste better when you don't have salt and pepper. On this budget, I just can't justify buying an entire thing of spices to use a teaspoon. So I'm using a taco seasoning packet because it's got spices and it's got salt. Therefore, it'll be the majority of our flavor for this dish. So we've got flavor, we got spices. We're dropping the stock, which in this case is water. Drop the water! Oh, it's not as fun as the stock. There's nothing in it. I want a refund. We're bringing our soup up to a simmer. Everything we need for a delicious meal is in there. While that happens, we're gonna make our rice. Rice is an affordable grain. It lasts a very long time if you don't use all of it right now, and you can also purchase it in dry bulk. 2-to-1 water to rice. Boom. We're gonna have some leftover rice for another meal. Isn't that fantastic? Yes, it is. We'll bring this up to a simmer as well. All right, this is boiling now. I'm gonna turn it all the way down to low to a simmer, and we're gonna cover it. Our soup's just about ready. Now I'm gonna add in my spinach. Because frozen spinach is already wilted down, you get a lot more bang for the buck over the fresh stuff. We don't have to cook this, we just need to warm it through, so it can be literally just a minute or two. To top off our soup, I've got a little bit of yogurt and a single lime. Both of these you can buy in single serving portions, so this is perfect for our budget. So everything's ready, let's make a bowl. We've got some rice, fantastic. And we've got our lentil soup. Ooh. We're gonna hit it with some of our yogurt. It's gonna make the whole thing nice and creamy. And finally, a wedge of lime. This is $6.99 for the entire pot of soup, plus you get extra rice and lentils for another dish. It looks absolutely delicious, it smells fantastic, and it's definitely hearty. Let's dig in. This tastes great. We've got a really flavorful soup here. We've got that taco seasoning packet that's just given us all kinds of spices and salt throughout. It's hearty, it's nutritious. We've got an incredibly affordable price, and all we had to do was make some thoughtful purchases. This is a great solution to an empty pantry. Salt. It's an essential pantry staple, but there are so many choices. Table, kosher, pink, flaky. How do you choose? Here are my tips for which salts you actually need. Table salt. Most often, this is found in a shaker. It's the most refined salt. The grains are really small and uniformly spherical, which means they dissolve really quickly and pour nicely. It's also the best salt to throw over your shoulder to reverse bad luck, because it's the cheapest. Kosher salt. Its larger grains are really popular with chefs because you can feel how much salt you're using. I like to keep a bowl on the counter for easy access while I cook. This is also the best salt for salting your pasta water. Natural salt. These are your pink, black, and red salts. Because they're unrefined, they come in many colors. They're found in mystical mountains and volcanoes and seas, and that's why they're marketed at premium prices. While a very refined palate might notice the minerality in the taste, in most cases, it's not worth the price. Finishing salt or flaky salt. Flake salt is used to add a final dash of flavor and texture to your meal. That's why the salt flakes are large and irregularly shaped. Sprinkle just before serving, not during cooking. The high temperatures will melt the flakes. The bottom line is, you don't need to spend your money on all different kinds of salt. I recommend kosher salt as your pantry staple because it's the most versatile. And if you want to splurge, flaky salt is really nice for finishing, but it's not essential. Typically, I'd insert some kind of a salt joke right here, but they are so damn. We're gonna make mixed veggie ramen. You know the ramen I'm talking about right here from the packet. It's delicious, it's filling, it's affordable, it's the original struggle meal. But now as an adult, I need to figure out how to get some veggies and protein and some vibrancy into this dish that I know and love. We're gonna add some extra vegetables to make this a nutritious and filling meal. All these ingredients for all the portions you're gonna get are only $5.74. We're gonna start off with some scallions here. Scallions are really affordable. We'll use most of the white and some of the green for right now, and then we'll garnish with the rest of the green. We got a head of garlic. We're gonna use a few cloves right now, but garlic holds really, really well on the counter. So this is future flavor. Right. So I wanna add some protein to this ramen to make it a complete meal, and we're gonna use tofu. Tofu is really affordable, and it absorbs all the flavors that surround it. Perfect. It's packed in water. We're just gonna leave the water behind. Try to find firm, extra firm, something like that. Let's cut these into perfect little cubes. Very satisfying to cut tofu, by the way. Ramen packets are so affordable that I was able to get 4 of them, meaning I can feed the average family. And ramen come with soup flavoring. They're loaded with seasonings. I'm pulling these out right now. They're gonna add a ton of salt and flavoring, which I don't have in the pantry and I didn't have a budget to buy now. Let's flavor our broth liquid right now with these, and then everything we throw in to cook, all the veggies and tofu and everything will absorb all that salty, awesome seasoning. Ha-ha! Now we're cooking with packets. I'm using chicken flavored ramen. Use whatever flavor you want. This is our flavor hack right here. We buy the ramen noodles not only for the noodles, but for the fact that it comes with a seasoning packet. And in a situation like ours where we're on a really tight budget and we can't buy salt and pepper or spices, this is perfect. Because you gotta get flavor from somewhere. All right, we've got some mixed vegetables frozen. We got carrot, broccoli, and cauliflower, and we're gonna put these right into the liquid so those vegetables will soak up all the flavoring of the ramen packet. We're gonna throw our scallions and garlic in. Let these infuse their flavors. So fun. We're gonna come in with our tofu. This is our protein for the dish, and a blank canvas onto which we can paint the flavors that we want to taste. And finale, our noodles. The broth is instant, the flavor's there. Our frozen vegetables just need to be warmed through. That should only take 2 or 3 minutes. Basically, all we're waiting for is the noodles to be cooked through. So it looks like the noodles are about done. They don't take very long at all. Check it out. Nice wavy al dente-ness. Look at that bounce. Wow, wow, wow. All right, looking good. Let's ladle up a bowl. I'm gonna garnish with some of my remaining fresh scallion. That way it has a little more of a sharpness to it. This looks delicious. It looks nutritious. It absolutely looks fresh. And I'm excited to dig into it. I really want to drive home the point that this entire pot of soup costs only $5.74. And I still have multiple cloves of garlic left. Perfection. Yum. Seasoning is spot on. These packets provided all the flavor that we need, and by cooking our vegetables in that seasoned broth, they came out with fantastic flavor throughout. This is an excellent budget meal. We used those seasoning packets, a few extra vegetables, some tofu, and mwah, complete meal. Don't go anywhere, because we've got a struggle challenge coming up right after this. It's time for a struggle challenge. Let's see what you got for me today. I got my first apartment and I'm on a tight budget these days. I don't have much in my pantry yet, but I'm trying to stretch $7 over the next few meals. Can you think of anything I can do with $7 besides fast food? Well, let's see what you got in the fridge. $7! Snap! I got $7, I got nothing in the pantry, so let's head over to the supermarket and see what we can get. I'll be right back.
All right, I got my $7. I'm at the store. Let's see what we can do. Looking at the cheeses, they're pretty expensive. I don't think it's happening today. Stock, soup, beans, rice, sugar. Looks like eggs are out of the question. $7. Ooh, pasta. All right, I got the pasta. What can I do for a sauce? All right, I'm in the produce where
They sell gummy bears.
that makes sense. So I realized that I can't saute any of the vegetables unless I figure out a way to get some fat. So I'm headed over to the meat aisle. I got a single piece of super fat cut bacon, which I'm really excited about. I'm gonna get a little vegetable and fill this thing out right now.
What to get? What to get? What to get?
All right. Woo! I did it. 6:17. Let's go cook.
I'm back. I spent $6.17. Look what I got. Like every good Italian American, I've got pasta at the heart of my meal. It is filling, it is nutritious, and it's cheap. We got some tomatoes. I got some tomatoes with green chilies, knowing that I may not have any access to salt and pepper and certainly no spices. I figured, let me buy a can of tomatoes that has a little oomph, if you know what I'm talking about. Then I went to the meat counter and I got some bacon. I want to saute some vegetables, which I got. One zucchini and an extremely long Chinese eggplant. These are some of the most affordable and hearty things I could find in the produce aisle. So, I think it's pretty clear what we're gonna do here. We're gonna boil water. We're gonna start cooking some pasta. We're gonna cut up the bacon. We're gonna let that fat render out. We're gonna saute zucchini and eggplant in said bacon. We're gonna throw our tomatoes with chili on top, toss the pasta with the sauce together, and bada boom, a $6.17 full pound of pasta, which yields between 4 and 6 servings. I think it's gonna be great. Let's get started. We're gonna put the pasta in first because this sauce is gonna come together lickety-split. Give it a nice stir right at the beginning. This is gonna prevent sticking more than anything else. Now I've got my bacon. My thinking was that bacon is super flavorful, but also it's highly fatty, and since I don't have access to olive oil, this made a lot of sense. And at the butcher's counter, I was able to buy just a single slice. Okay, sometimes what I like to do is cut right on the paper they give it to you, so the board is nice and clean. So I'm just gonna slice some slices here. Oh, this is some fatty bacon, baby. And the bacon is gonna go in the pan and render out. Spreading out this bacon here so it can really render out that fat. I smell the smoky aroma of awesomeness already. Here we've got our zucchini and our eggplant. Let's cut up the eggplant first. Because I picked a pretty chunky pasta, I can have kind of chunky pieces of vegetable. Also, eggplant shrinks down a little bit. We'll cut the zucchini in half. And we'll go in half again this way. Fantastic. Bacon looks great. Let's get a little plate to pull this off. I'm gonna pull the bacon off so it doesn't burn, and we can just saute the vegetables right in this fat. Let's start with eggplant. Here we go. Oh, amazing. highly aromatic, fantastic fat. It's smoky, it's salty, it's adding so much flavor to the dish. Oh yeah. You can see our vegetables have soaked up all the bacon fat already. The pan's nearly dry. It's incredible. We're gonna deglaze the pan with our chili tomato. We're gonna drop the temperature. So I'm gonna bring these tomatoes up to a boil. I'm gonna take the pasta, which should be 95% done at that point, throw it in here, let the pasta finish cooking in the tomato sauce. The pasta absorbs all the liquid of that tomato, thickening the sauce, and also cooking it through, and also homogenizing all the flavors. Holy, this is a lot of food for $6.17. So I have so much food that it doesn't fit into a 14-inch saute pan. So I had to take half of our food out and put it in a bowl so that I could mix it properly. It's like starting a salad dressing with half the salad in there. So now I can come back in. Everything's mixed up real good. Nothing's looking wet. We can return our bacon to the pasta. Very nice. Let's plate it up. All right, we got some pasta right here with a bunch of veggies. I'm getting some of the tomato on there. So, look at how much pasta I've got left here, and look at the size of this bowl. And you gotta remember, all of this is $6.17. Okay, so this looks pretty great. A very appetizing pasta with multiple colors. The things are cut to the right size. You can tell the pasta's not overcooked. Without being too nitpicky, to me, I would like a little more of a glossy sheen. This is where cheese or finishing with olive oil would come in. But overall, I think this looks very appetizing, and I give it an 8.5 on looks. I mean, it doesn't need any extra seasoning, so I've got to say it was really smart to use the bacon, which is highly salty and very smoky, adding a ton of flavor. I love the texture and the flavor of the zucchini and the eggplant, both of which absorbed all the spice and all the salt. And I'm gonna give this an 8.5 on flavor. I think it could benefit a little bit from some cheese or some olive oil or even breadcrumbs at the end. But considering the parameters, this challenge is crushed. So without having any access to pantry ingredients, we made something really flavorful that'll span multiple meals. And for that, I thank you for this challenge. Stay tuned, more under $7 meals for the whole family coming up. We're gonna make comfort food on a budget, cheesy tuna pasta. It's gonna be filling and satisfying, and we're gonna give it a little extra crunch on top in the form of potato chips. Everything we need to make this dish comes in at only $6.77. This dish is baked, but we've gotta cook our pasta in boiling water first. Any small pasta will work here. Give it a stir so nothing sticks right at the beginning. Oh, that was all sticking to the bottom. It's a good thing I'm stirring this. Okay, we just wanna cook this until it's al dente. So while that pasta's cooking, I'm gonna get started on my cheese. I'm using pepper jack cheese here, and I bought the whole thing in a single block, which means, yes, I have to grate it. But I'm also getting a cheaper price per pound of cheese, which means savings. I'm using pepper jack cheese because it's gonna add some extra flavor in the form of little peppers. Right, Jack? My pasta's ready. I'm just gonna scoop it out and stick it into a bowl here. These are cooked, but they're a little bit on the al dente side. The mass and steam of the heat will continue cooking them through, not to mention the fact that the whole thing goes in the oven and continues baking. All right, got our pasta all cooked up. Now we're gonna open up our tuna. I've got tuna in oil here. This is an opportunity to add a little more flavor, but also to grease the bottom of the pan so nothing sticks. All right, so we're gonna put our tuna right into our pasta. Some of our cheese will come in, all right? For our big flavor hack in this dish, we've got cream of celery. We add so much flavor, salt, creaminess, and it cuts down on the amount of ingredients that we need to buy. Now we can use that can as a measuring cup to add some water into the dish, because otherwise this would just be too thick. So I like to pour half the water out, and then I give it a nice little swirl to try to get any extra soup in there out. All right, we've got some frozen peas. Woo-wee! Because we need some vegetables. Let's mix it all up. Very nice. Oh, listen to that. Smells good already. The Midwesterners call this a hot dish, but they're wrong. It's called a casserole. If you have some salt in your pantry, this is where I'd add it. So when I was at the store, I grabbed this utensil satchel, and it comes with salt and pepper. I'm gonna use it right now. I'm gonna lay this out in our pan now. Put this right into your casserole dish. Superb. Look at how much food we're making. Let's take the rest of our pepper jack cheese and sprinkle it on top. The idea here being that you sort of get like a cheesy cap on the whole thing. We need to get some more flavor into this, so we're gonna add crushed up potato chips, which are gonna give us textural variance and some salt. All right, we're gonna bake this for about 40 minutes until it's golden brown and bubbly. I gotta say, this smells fantastic. I smell the peas, I smell the cheese, and I am ready to be pleased. And I only spent $6.77 at the grocery store for all of it. And this is at least 4 servings. I said we dig in. That is a very large portion, I have to say. I mean, you can see how much is left. All right, here we go. Creamy, cheesy, extra crunch from the potato chips, protein-packed, vegetable-filled, multiple servings. I think my favorite part of this dish is the juxtaposition of all the different textures. This is an affordable dish that is both easy and tasty. This might be a budget dish, but it sure doesn't taste like one. We did it! We made delicious, nutritious, and filling meals for the whole family for under $7 without any help from the pantry. They said it couldn't be done, but you just witnessed it. Welcome to Frankie's Corner, where I answer your questions. What spices do you always make sure you have on hand? You gotta have the spices in 3 categories: the must-have, the nice-have, and the I'm feeling fancy. The must-haves for me are salt, sugar, and red pepper flakes, because they hit 3 basic tastes and give you a lot of ability to do stuff. For the nice-to-have spices, paprika, black pepper, and garlic or onion powder really give you more flavor expansion. And if you're feeling fancy, then you should get turmeric, ginger, dried herbs, nutmeg, and curry powder. Now you're cooking.